What is up, YouTube? Happy Sunday night. I see we got a bunch of folks in here already. So, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. If you are watching this video after we recorded it live, my name is Josh. I'm just your average Joe day trader. And how's everybody weekend? How is everybody's weekend so far? I know it's Sunday night. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know who you are and where you're from. Would love to get to know you a little bit better. And obviously, the point of Sunday Night Live is we're going to see what happens with the S&P 500 and a lot of the other stocks. But but I'm going to tell you, a lot's going on. We're coming out of an incredible Friday where everything was running green as can be. I think even Tesla, that came down kind of hard, pumped back up pretty much midday and ran up. The S&P 500 stocks were all really cranking really well. And if this is your first time here and you're either live with us, which welcome, or you are watching this after it's been recorded, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button for me. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. Let me just tell you, and I see we already got a few people in the room. So we got It's Fuentes. What's going on? Yeah, let's go. Hey, your favorite part of Sunday night? Well, guess what, brother? It's my favorite part of Sunday night too. Love to be able to get on here and get live, be able to take some questions, see the chat. Oh, I see John is in the house. What's going on, John? We were chatting earlier in the Discord today about some options questions. Let me see. We got a question from John already. Let me pose this question. If we have Christmas holiday bang, why not put money into 2X stocks? Granted, you got to watch them, but they're less expensive to buy with the potential of a good return. Hey, Paulette is here. Hey, Paulette from Kentucky. Yeah, so good question, John. I'm going to tell you, many of you know from watching my videos that I love the 2Xs. I love to trade the 2Xs, but the thing about the 2Xs are that while a traditional stock, hey, Ravi's in the house. What's up, Ravi from Charlotte? While traditional stocks like APLD, for example, of course, I'm going to go to my go-to APLD. Why wouldn't I? But APLD is, we call it escalator up, elevator down, meaning that it's gonna work very slowly up. You can even look at the S&P 500 on the chart here. You can see it's a very slow up, but when it drops, like the day before, okay, this Thursday, right? So escalator up, elevator down, okay? And a lot of stocks are like that. Well, the thing about 2X's, which um, APLX, which is a 2X for APLD. Okay, so I'm going to pull up APLX. You can see that, look, that day before APLX was all elevator down, but you also have elevator up. I mean, look at this monster candle on the 30-minute. It says elevator up and elevator down. So you have to be like super careful because they do run super hot. Now, the elevator up is awesome, right? But you got to remember that elevator down could be twice as bad and twice as fast. And if you're not managing yourself properly, let me check the time. Okay, it's 8 p.m., so just hit 8 o'clock. If you're not managing your time properly, then you may not be able to catch it on the way down. So let's go ahead and switch from 30 to 15. Let's see here. Are we on the clock yet? It is the 8 o'clock, but let's see here. So we may not have really any gap up or gap down at this point. Let's see. Okay, well, so this is no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. It hasn't shown yet what it's doing. And this is APLX, so duh. Hold on, stand by. Stand by. That's why. Whoops. Boom. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Look at this, everybody. Look at the gap up. What is happening with the S&P 500 right now? Dropped to 681. It launched to 682. We're at 682 now after closing at 680.59. I don't want to say it now, right? Because a lot could happen in the 24-hour market. A lot could happen overnight. But I do feel pretty strongly that we are seeing the beginning parts of the holiday magic, the beginning parts of the Santa run. I mean, this gap up. Now, this shows that Friday, tons of individuals bought into the SPY, probably bought into a bunch of other stocks, right? Let's go to the average Joe day trader stock list. And let's just see this real quick here, and I'll jump back over to the comments. Let's see. Oh, Tesla. Okay, yep. So Tesla's got a super nice pump going on there. AMD. Look at the size of that candle. Okay, and these are 5-minute candles. All right, so this is 30. This is the 15-minute. I mean, look at this incredible pump. Palantir, Nvidia, Robinhood, IREN. Okay, IREN. You need to keep your eyes on IREN, and there's some good stuff going on with IREN right now. Matter of fact, if you look at the weekly, you can see this doji candle is a dragonfly doji candle on the weekly. Now you could say they've had some solid red coming down for IREN, but this on the weekly, because this is indecisive, this doji candle here shows the market doesn't know which way it wants to go. So for the week, it didn't know whether to go up or go down. It did push down the week after, and now it's pushed up hard to this dragonfly. And basically, a dragonfly doji typically says it's going to be bullish and run up. So keep your eye on IREN. Just to share it with you, I did put that out to the Discord group over the weekend. Let's see if there's anything in the comments so far here. Anything new? Yep, John. All right. John agrees. I think we were talking about the 2Xs. So yeah, I love 2Xs. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I have an entire watch list for 2Xs, and every single stock that I love, I find out what the 2Xs are on it. Nvidia, I find out for the just the different ones. AMD, SoFi. There's an SOFX. I mean, every one of them has a 2X. Tesla. There's 5 or 6 of them that I run up and run down, based on what way Tesla is running. But man, let me just tell you. Let's keep going here. HIMS, nice, very nice gap up for HIMS. Bull, you want to look at Bull? Okay, give me 1 second here. Ravi, we'll look at Bull. Let's see. BMNR is not a 24-hour, so that one's not going to show us anything yet. SMCI, nice. Look at everything on the AJDT best day trade list is already green in the overnight market. SoFi, QBTS, that is 24 hours. It's green. Rigetti, green. Cipher, no, it's not a 24-hour. SMR is a 24-hour. Look at the size of that candle for SMR. For SMR. Cipher being, yeah, not 24 hour. EOSE is not 24 hour. Wolf is not 24 hour. QUBT is 24 hours. Okay. Open is 24 hours. And look at this. So it actually pumped to 650 OPEN, open door, and it pushed it back down. So it's about where it closed, 637. And, zero volume going on in there. And BBAI. BBAI also is 24 hours. Did pump up. So look, it actually broke above this resistance level, and it's above it, but it's trying to pull back down. So we'll see what happens with BBI. But so let's go to Bull. Let's take a look at Bull real quick. And I've got my secondary computer here, so just give me 1 second because I'm going to pull it up in here as well. Let me see if I did any charting on Bull. Here, hold on 1 second. There we go. All right, let's see what pulls up for Bull while that is loading into there. And here's Bull. So let's look at the daily first. Robbie, let's look at the daily. All right, so check this out. Actually, I think we looked at Bull last week together too, or we talked about it. So they had been on a pretty consistent daily rundown. Started to kind of drop and hit the bottom on this day. So this was Thursday. Everybody was red. And now on Friday, he had a nice green day. So it's kind of made that turn. You can see that, you do have the MACD is just below the signal on the daily, but it's flat. And so that potentially indicates a turn. If we go to the 4 hour, you'll see the MACD, which is the blue line, is on an uptrend for bull, and that's good news. So that's very, very good news. Let me see here something. Okay. All right, so let's go to the 1 hour. Let's kind of take a look at this thing real quick here, and we're going to build our box strategy around this one, Ravi, so we can get some levels on it. Look at that! Look at that little baby up there from opening up on the 24 hour. I mean, it's up, right? It's holding above, kind of like BBAI was. It's up there. All right, so we're going to build our high low. So here's what I do. For those of you that haven't seen um, the box strategy, which is what I use basically to trade daily. We're going to build the box strategy around here. I also build my support and resistance levels, my scalping strategy, all my levels on the box strategy basically. But we go to a 5 day right here, 30-minute range. Okay. And I'm going to pull it over here and I count them out. I use 7 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a horizontal line. We're going to hit the top here, 1037. We're going to make that white. That's going to be our ceiling. Okay, we're going to lock that in place. We're also going to add a bottom. And unfortunately, we've got the bottom wick, nasty, nasty bottom here. We're also going to make that one white because that is our floor. And so that is over 7 days, your support and resistance level trading channel. Okay, now what's interesting is, and I can see it already, it stayed within that, okay, with the exception of when it was all the way up here over, this, what we want to call this $10 range. It was up here in the $11-12 range. Once it broke down, it tried to get back out of it. Then it's lived in here. This little wick down, on this line is not really a breakdown because it still stayed within. But that's our low and our high. Okay. Now that's not necessarily support and resistance levels that you would use for trading. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this a little bit bigger. Okay. And we're going to get 7 days out of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and add additional lines here. So we're going to go ahead and choose the horizontal line again. And now we're going to kind of open this up a little bit. And I just added that one by accident. That's totally fine. I'm going to bring this one up here. Okay. And we're going to pop that here, but now we're going to make this bigger and see, okay, 3 points. So we're going to bring it down just a little bit. Okay. Now we got more than 3 points. We got 1, 2, okay, held on underneath, 3, 4. Okay. So you would call this a resistance level at the top. Okay. And we're going to leave that one in there. I'm actually going to lock that in place. So $9.24. We're also going to add, let me make this smaller again. Okay, we're going to add another one here. So we're going to pop this in here and then we're going to look at it. We're going to analyze it. Let's lock it in place. And we're going to see, okay, obviously we wick down below it, but right here again, another resistance level. We have 1. Let's come across. Wicked above, wicked above. Okay. All right. And hasn't made it back up there yet, but we're going to now go left, look left, and look at all this noise here on it. Look at all this noise here on it, right? A lot of touches on that line. So now we know we've got these two levels, 904 and 924. And bull doesn't really run as much as I would like it. This has not been an average Joe day trader best day trade stock because it hasn't given me the daily flow that I like. Now, do I believe that bull will eventually make a run for it like Robinhood? I do. But it's got a long time to get there. It's one that's got a long time to get there. Let's go ahead and add this line here. So we're gonna work off the last day because we have 2 touches right here. All right. So we have the 2 touches here, a touch here. We have lots of activity on the line here, right? And this is really all you do. And I think I just pulled it down too much. Let me fix that. Okay. So this is really all you're doing is finding those touch points and using those as your support and resistance levels. Okay. And let's build the box strategy around this one too. Since we're in it, let's go ahead and build a box strategy. Maybe tomorrow I'll be watching this one with you, Ravi. So we're going to go ahead and build our box. We get our rectangle. We're going to go from the previous day high here. So we're going to start here and go to the low, lock it in place. Okay. And this is kind of funny because it's the backwards box. So we're going to pull this way now. All right. And we're good. So we've got top, bottom. Let's add one more line. You know, I like to add a median line there in the middle that we can use. We'll call that yellow so we can see it. And there you go. There is our box strategy. Let's get back to the 15-minute regular chart. 1 day. Okay. That's the 1 minute. My goodness. We're not looking for anything 1 minute. We're looking 1 day, 30-minute, 15-minute. Okay. All right. So now we got a good box strategy built up for it. But even in this post market or overnight market, it's already out of the box strategy. So we're gonna have to kind of wait and see what this does, and we'll have to look at it tomorrow. And Ravi, I will send you, because I don't have the actual levels for this lock set. I'll take a little bit of time tonight. I'll send you the levels for the bull chart tonight. I'll actually send you the bounce and the rejection zones, so you have that for the morning as I work on APLDs and the SPY and all that. So let's go back to the SPY. Let's kind of see what's going on there and see what we got. I also am going to be respectful of time for you all, because I know that some of these run long, some of them do not. But the S&P 500 is holding very nicely. 682.49, 682.40. Look at this nice pump. I hope it holds through the night. You know, sometimes we are disappointed when we wake up in the morning and we see this thing completely reversed. But like I said, I think it's a green day. You got it, Robbie. I think it's a green day tomorrow. So, any other questions? Throw them in the chat. Anything else you want me to look at? Throw it in the chat. I did want to share with you very quickly. I've had a couple really good questions over the week from some of our subscribers and from the Discord. One thing that came up, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, is dollar cost averaging. What do you do and how do you buy a stock? Now, obviously, as day traders, the goal is to get in and get out within the same day. Matter of fact, I this weekend spent a lot of time working on a 6-part series. It's called Day Trader 101. I've been building this series for a few weeks now, and I'm going to start probably recording this week when I have some downtime, because I will be taking a few days off from corporate America. But I'm going to be recording some day trading, one-on-one day trading videos. And one of the things that does come up often, the two things that does come up often, and I'm going to talk about one of the two, but one of them is stop losses. And I think all of us, right? I'm an average Joe. I do not use stop losses on APLD. Sometimes I get myself in trouble in there. So I have to dollar cost average down to get it closer to profit. And then when it makes the turn, I'm in profit, I get out. I don't make as much money as I would like to. Or sometimes I make double the amount because I've doubled down. That's not really the best way to do that. Set a stop loss and understand what your risk tolerance level is. So if you buy a stock and you put $10,000 in, what percentage would you be okay losing versus losing $10,000 is how you have to look at it. And if 10% is your number and you're okay stopping out losing $1,000 on $10,000, better to lose $1,000 than to have it continue to drop and lose $5,000 and be bag holding it for a long, long time. And that's the thing about stocks, is they don't generally run up as fast as they run down. And that's the whole, escalator up, elevator down. The stocks slowly, gradually get better, bigger, more money, but they quickly drop down when there's bad news, something in social media, whatever it may be. Very, very quickly does it drop. So dollar cost average, what that means, if you don't know what that means, it means that I'll go in and I'll buy 500 shares of a stock. Okay, let's say I buy that 500 shares of a stock at $10 a share. Okay, and if my math's right, I'm buying $5,000 worth of stock. All right, so $5,000, $10 a share, and I'm wanting to see this thing go up by $1, right? Or go up by 50 cents or whatever, so I can make profit, see profit, take profit. Well, what happens if it goes the opposite direction? Well, I'm in 500 shares, right? So that's $5,000. So potentially what I'm looking at is, where is it dropping to? Now, if I don't have a stop loss set and it's coming down, okay, then a lot of times what many traders do, including myself, I had to do it a few times in the last couple of weeks with APLD, is I double down. So I'm going to buy another 500 shares, or depending on, I do the calculation of my averages. Where do I want to be in that stock to get myself into a point of break even or take profit so that I don't lose more or end up bag holding? So you may buy 500 more shares. So let's say the stock's $10. Well, now it's dropped to $9. Okay. And so I'm going to buy 500 more shares at $9. And now that makes my average $9.50. Well, I've got a better chance of getting to $9.50 on the way back up than I do the $10 on the way back up, depending on the stock. Several stocks may not even make it back to $10. Maybe they won't make the $9.50. All right. We've seen that with BBAI, and I'm sorry, BBAI Army. I love you all, and I love the stock. I love the company. I am a believer. I do believe it will become a $10 stock, but it's been living in that $6 range for several weeks. And it did drop below last week into the $5 range. And it takes a lot to get it back up to say closer to $7. We've hit it close to $7 a few times, but then it turns around and comes back down. So if I'm in it at $8, I buy 100 shares at $8, okay, for $800. And now I want to, and it's at $6. And so I buy another 100 shares at $6. Well, now my average is $7 per share. So now it's easier for me to get to 7 than it is to get back to 8. And that's what the whole dollar cost average idea is. But here's the most important point that I want to make to you, for if you're a brand new trader, if you're in our Discord and you've had this question, the thing that I want to share with you is that when you buy a stock, okay, see, for me, and I know the Discord group's going to go crazy when I say this, for me, I do go in very heavy on Applied Digital. I do go in very heavy on Tesla or TSLL. I do buy very heavy in the stocks that I am comfortable with the risk. Meaning, we got Adam in the house. What key resistance levels is SPY testing here, and has it been rejected before? Hey, good question. Good question, Adam. That looks a little bit like a Chat GPT question. So I'll get to that question in a minute. But as far as the dollar cost average goes, so I go very heavy in buying those stocks. So I'm going to buy 500 shares, 1,000 shares of APLD. Okay, because I know what it's going to do. I have tracked and trended it over time. I know the levels, I know how it runs, and I trust it. And I know it's not going anywhere. It's not going out of business. A lot of good, positive sentiment and things positive going on for APLD. So I traded heavy. Now, if I were to buy a stock, let's say Bull, for example, that Ravi asked about, right? Webull. Okay, this is my Webull account you're looking at right here. And Webull, B-U-L-L, is a great stock. But I don't trust Webull as a stock. I don't trust Bull as a stock right now to say I'm going to buy 500 or 1,000 shares of it and go in super heavy, because I don't know if I'm going to make my money as a day trade or in a day, or even turning it into a swing trade, basically, right away. I may be stuck in Bull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small position in, and maybe I'll buy 50 shares of Bull. And then I'm going to watch the levels and see what is the market doing with Bull. Is it running up or is it running down? Okay. Now, if it starts to pull back and it's running down, then I'm going to probably then on the dip, look and see where it's going, look at the trend, watch the candles, and maybe I'll buy 50 more shares, right? Because I'm buying the dip. So now I'm in at 100 shares. If it drops down more, I'm buy another 50 shares. And what I'm doing is I'm increasing my level, my number of shares. I'm increasing my position in Bull, but I'm also dollar cost averaging down my position in Bull with the hopes that I am going to get back to the break even or profit zone. But not only that, if I buy 50 shares of Bull and now it's running up, well, then I'm going to buy 50 more shares of it while it's running up, and I may continue to increase my position to a point where I'm comfortable that I'm adding value to my position by adding, stock shares in. Now, I will tell you that if you buy 50 shares of something at $1, you've got $50 worth, right? If it goes up by $1 and now it's, $2 a share, I might buy another 50 shares of that stock at $2, but it brings my average per share to $1.50. So it's now I'm not even buying at $2. I'm still at a lower value, $1.50, because I bought it at a dollar and then $2. And so now the average is $1.50. Now let's say it goes to $3. I may buy another 50 shares of it because now my average is going to be, somewhere around $2 or, 225, 250. So it continues to come up. So you do sort of dollar cost average up as well as down when you get into a position where you're buying smaller amounts. So let's go back to the S&P 500 here and look at it a little bit. And I'm actually going to pull up my yesterday or my Friday to answer Adam's question, because he threw a very good question in there. So give me 1 second to pull up my yesterday chart here on the other computer. And where are we for S&P 500? Where is it? All right. So here we go. Beautiful. Okay. So yes, Adam, here's what I'll tell you. I don't have the charting levels here on this Webull. I do it on another. I do it on my TradingView account in a different computer. But I will tell you that we had an incredible run on the SP 500, 682.49. Now, that is not the all-time high, because you see the all-time high was 687. So what we have going on here in the daily is several points. So let's go ahead and lock this one in. And we'll put a line here at the top of the day. Okay. And let's make this one blue so we can kind of see it clearer. But if you see, Adam, what we're looking at on the SP 500 is you have 681.32 is the top of the Friday day, of Friday's trading day. But you come across here and you can see here, look, November 28th was the same touch point. Look here, on November 11th, same touch point, right? So you got 3 points here and some wicks, all right, that are the same level. So it shows you we got as high as here. It did break up and through, and then it came and fell all the way back down. It came and hit this resistance level, and it broke it back down. The market wanted to push it up. This is when we hit the new all-time high right here. 687.22 behind 687.67, so not the all-time high, but almost, in a nice full candle, and then it rejected and pushed down. Well, now here we are on the day, and this would now be the resistance level that we would want to see tomorrow if it can break through this 681.32. And I had on my last levels in here, I had a, let's see, breakout above 671. So let's go to the 15-minute candle on this. All right, 674.80 was the low, and that was about the bounce. So our bounce was between 674.10 to 679, and at 674.80 is when it started in pre-market to bounce, and it ran up and it kept going. Then we got here, and 679.20 was the next support resistance level we were looking at on a breakout, and it did break out, and that was the breakout point going up there. So pretty good levels on S&P 500, and I'm going to be working on those levels for tomorrow as well, so we'll get those out to the Discord group, so they've got the levels as well. But pretty good overall, pretty good opportunity to make some good money in the S&P 500. If you were an options trader, I mean, man, this was a great way to make money all day long scalping this buy. I had lost that money in the week prior, so I wasn't touching it. I even told Jason, Frozen Randy, that I wasn't touching this buy until a lot of my other portfolio kind of turned back with the market green, which I think is where we're kind of at right now. But I will say, just be careful, and don't bet on a bull run right now because we're not sure that this is actually any type of a bull market yet. There's still a lot of um, hesitancy in the market, volatility in the market. This is just good to see, though. I mean, look at this. We even opened up our second 15-minute candle and more green. So very, very happy to see this. And let's see here. These are all my levels here in my OGs. APLD, look at this. APLD 2887. Nice. Still running nice green tonight. So very happy because I am still in APLX. And APLX is not considered 24 hours. So we'll see tomorrow morning when that opens up what that looks like. See, it's sitting right here at this 68.20. So, I mean, this thing's probably close to $70 right now, depending on what it looks like when it opens up. But a lot of things to keep your eye on. You want to keep your eye on the IWM, which is running green, QQQM. Let's actually go look at the markets real quick. How are futures doing? Swoop, get off of there. All right, so why is that doing that? So everything's running nice and green right now. Let's go to futures. Okay, yep, the micro NASDAQ's green. Micro E-mini NASDAQ 100. These are all green. Got some other red here in the MNQU6s, but not bad. Here's the micro E-mini S&P 500, all green right now. The Dow, all green right now. The Russell, it's either right at it or green. So there's a lot of good stuff going on here in the futures. And here, those are FX futures. Hold on a second. We don't care about that. Even crypto's running nice and green right now. So there's a lot of positive sentiment in the market, and we'll see what happens. But watch out for Shanghai. Shanghai's showing red again. We don't want to mess with that. So let's see. Any other questions in there? Yeah, get those likes up. Thank you. Zircon Mike. Mikey, my man, let's get those likes going. And we got a bunch of people still in here. So throw some questions out there. Adam, great question. Thank you. Glad you asked. First time in the channel here. I know I've seen Adam before elsewhere, but not here in the channel. So I'm glad you jumped in to see it. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do some box strategy with you. So we can have some of that in there. Let's see. You're putting out some positive info. Thanks, John. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, well, when we're running green, it's easy, right? I think it was Cannonball in the Discord on Thursday or Friday said, man, it's like you could hear, you'd hear crickets in the Discord, and that's because everybody's either tied up in stocks and pulled back and waiting to get out of bag holding, or afraid to jump into things in the market. And I totally get that. I'm pretty quiet too, especially when I'm in a trade. When I get in a trade, I'm focused on my day trade. I want to get in and get out clean. So sometimes, like, the Discord will be asking questions and stuff, and I'm watching this, and that's going on the sideline. But yeah, very quiet. I think we're going to have a very fun day tomorrow in the Discord in the morning, as we're all just going to be excited about what's going on and what everything's looking like. So, SoFi, interesting. So it's pulling back a little bit here. I noticed by the dollar amount, 27.68. It was at 27.95, but still up 1.62%. Yes, good. Oh, look at IREN is up 4.81%. See, exactly what I was sharing with you about IREN. Nice green. I think this should be a good green day tomorrow for IREN. BMNR, not 24 hours. We'll wait till tomorrow for that. Let's see. SMCI is running green. APLD still a little pullback there. Nice run. Some good stuff going. So let's see. Is there anything you guys want to see in box strategy? Tell me in the chat so I can jump on that one. All right. Look at Tesla holding up here. Tesla's got a bit of a run for me. I've got a 490.22 target for as a resistance level that I think that Tesla may break through. And we all thought last week Tesla would hit $500, and it did. It honestly had a rough morning, pulled down kind of hard. There was some news about Tesla that was negative that caused this, and then it was like, okay, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of a thing. Everybody was like, oh, maybe that's not so true, and then we're buying positions back in. So this was a when there's blood in the streets, it's time to eat situation. All right, let's see here. John's asking for STX. Yes, I know you were in STX last week. Let's take a look at STX together. Ooh, all right. Look at STX. Nice, nice, nice. Nice response to what's happening in the green market. See, now the thing is, we need it to hold, right? We need this to hold through the night into the morning. These are the days that when I wake up around 5:30, I'm looking at the charts. I pop up, but it give you my morning ritual, okay? I want to be very clear about my morning ritual. My morning ritual, I don't wake up and immediately go to the stock market. I wake up, I immediately go to Jesus. Okay. So I read my daily verse. I read about the daily verse in the Bible. My wife and I have a devotional we do together in the morning when we both wake up. And then it's stock market time because I am asking God to help me in the stock market. So then I look at the charts. Sometimes we get up earlier and look to see what's going on. Sometimes I will wake up. I'm 51 going on 52. I will admit sometimes I get up, I got to go to the bathroom. And so I'll look and see real quick if the S&P 500 is green or not at the 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. But I have my routine first with God before I have my routine with the bull. And some may love to hear that, some may not, but I'm sorry. STX got a nice run. Let's look at the daily on this one. Yeah, so check this out, right? Here's the thing about STX. And let me see if I can do this on a trend line. Actually, no, hold on a second. Let's get an extended line. So let's start down here. And let's pull this bad boy up here. All right. So this actually, oh, it didn't stick. Hold on. There we go. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And I'll bring this one up here. All right, boom. And then we're going to get rid of the wick on that. So let me pull this up. All right. So you've got a nice uptrend going. You could almost call this a channel. I'm going to pull this over and I'm going to do another one. Okay. We're actually going to make this a little smaller. Yeah, of course I did that. So we're going to hit those two wicks right there. Boom. Let me bring this up. All right, let's go here. Boom. All right. So we're kind of living in this channel right now, John, on STX. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. So we are living on this channel. I'm going to get off auto. I'm going to pull this down. So STX, what I'm seeing is look how it's respecting. If you wanted to make this and create this on the daily chart, you're in at 108.22. What's it at right now? Holy smokes, 290. You're at 302.80. John, John, didn't you also tell us in the Discord last week you were in APLD at $11 and you were like, I need to sell this and get out of it? I don't know if you sold it and got out of it. I don't give financial advice, but if you were in at 11.80, I hope you left some running. If you sold it out, I hope you left some of that APLD running, because one day when we do sit on rocking chairs together in Tennessee or whatever, talking about old times, my law enforcement brother, this may be one we talk about. How's your APLD doing? So, okay, good. Long term. Beautiful. Long term. Yeah. So, yeah, this is great. STX at 296.36. And what you want to see is you want to continue to see it come here. But just know, like, if it's long term, it's long term. If you're going to day trade an expensive stock like this, like I do Tesla, like I do the SPY, well, not day trade the SPY, but Tesla or Nvidia, those bigger dollar ones, UNH, things like that, you have the potential to hit this level and drop back down, hit this level and drop back down. But it's got a nice trend on the daily, just continuing uptrend. So if you got in at 100 and wow, you're in this bad boy for a while. That's good. That's really good. Nice. I mean, look at this thing. It was $62. So you got in somewhere around here, July 2025. Nope, probably even earlier. Probably back here about May. So good job. 155 shares. I don't know when to sell. Which one are you talking about, John? Are you talking about STX or are you talking about APLD? So I do have this thing. Now I'm going to share this last thing with you before we end this live. So I have a long-term account. I believe in long-term. I have my 401k. I've got ETFs that I buy into that we put a specific amount of money into every week, right? And I don't even worry about those. I forget about those. Those are my long-term investment. I don't even worry about them. I don't want to mess with them. I'm not doing anything with them. And that's the difference between a day trader and an investor. Okay. I'm not messing with my long term stuff. Nice. Last December. Um, as a day trader, here's how I feel. If I buy a stock at $20 a share and it goes up to $30 a share, I'm selling it at $30 a share because tomorrow, when it's back down to $22 a share, I'm going to buy it again at $22 a share and I'm going to ride it up to $32 a share and I'm going to sell it at $32 a share. You follow what I'm saying? Like, in other words, if I buy it at $20 a share and I just leave it as a long-term investment, well, it went from 20 to 30, back to 22 to 32. Now, yes, the pattern could be 24 to 34 to 36. I mean, 26 to 36. Yeah. And eventually it's going to continue to make money. But how much money have I made in, say, those 4 days I just mentioned? Not much, because in essence, I probably only made about $8 a share, or I should say maybe even less. But if I made $10 a share and I sold it, well, I got to keep those $10 a share. And now I buy back in at what would be negative $10 a share and I do it again. Well, now I've doubled my money and I sell it and I do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's why I love being a day trader, because although my long term sentiment is not to stay in it for the rest of my life, although I do have those, Palantir is one that I continue to buy every dip. As a day trader, if I chip off $500, well, I put that $500 away and now I buy it again at the same cost that I paid for it the day before, make another $500. I put that $500 away. I keep going. Wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. That's the beauty of being a retail day trader. But you have to know your candlestick patterns. You have to know your charting. You have to know your levels. You have to be on fire and on top of that to make sure you have educated yourself. And that's part of why I'm going to be making this 6-part series, Day Trader 101. And it's not going to be as much as everybody probably would want, right? I could spend hours building videos trying to teach people how to do it. But I'm going to give you the basics. I'm going to give you the understanding. And then you have to get in there and you have to learn and you have to educate yourself and grow. And a very good way of learning how to be a day trader, a swing trader, a long-term investor, to know what's going on in the market, the best way to do that, I learned personally. This really is not a sales pitch, because It's Fuentes is here in the chat, and he got me started in a Discord with a group of amazing guys and gals that taught me a lot over the years, taught me a lot about the market and what to understand, right? And now we have the AJDT Discord, the AJDT family Discord, and I've got some individuals in here that are incredibly intelligent, educated individuals. Ravi is here in the Discord tonight. He's incredible. He puts knowledge in the Discord to help teach others and always answers questions. And we have a bunch of other people in the Discord that are just as good. Jason, Frozen Randy, he's the one that does all the graphics for the channel. Look at this background behind me, right? My Christmas one, and he told me I have to tell everybody this is one that he made. He hand drew, he did everything for, and then pumped it through AI to see what it would do. And I just love how it looks. I've been using that one as well, so I'm supposed to tell you this one he put through AI. All the other ones he's made some cool stuff you're all going to see this week. Yeah. So anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. So let me jump back in here to some of the comments here. Okay. So John, when you say 24 hours, does that mean we can buy them now? It depends what it is, John. Okay. So for example, let's go back to your STX and see, is that a 24-hour stock? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is a 24-hour stock. So I'm going to pull this over and show you that I could buy. All right, let's say we want to buy 10 shares of it. All right, and it's going to tell me, well, I've got my trading locked up, but it shows me $3,000. It's going to cost me $3,000 for those 10 shares. Yes, I can buy that. Now, here's the thing. When you open your account up, and I'm a bit private about what I have in this account, my trading account. It's down a little bit. This account's down a little bit. I'm in the lower 30,000s right now. It was up over 40,000, but I move a lot of money out of this one into a longer term portfolio. That's just the money I keep in here to day trade with. And when I'm profitable, I make good money. I do pull money out and transfer it into another account that's protected, because I know we had the conversation in the Discord last week about taxes and all that, so that I don't end up getting hurt with the taxes. You get hurt with taxes as soon as you sell anything, but at the end of the day, it still lives in a brokerage account, so my accountant knows where that money is to be accounted for. But yeah, you could buy right now in the 24-hour market. The only thing is with it is, I will tell you, John, sometimes it may not fill, because it is about volumes, right? So let's pull this up here. Now you see very low volume in the overnight market, right? There's not much movement in there. All right. And so when we go on, you see this cranked. I mean, this volume right here cranked on the opening, because we're in the daily. So let's go to 30 minute. Let's go to 15 minute. Okay. So you do have a little bit of volume here, but look at the volume on these candles. 78 share movement. Okay, 118, right? There's 1,054. That was at the open. There's just not enough movement in here. You want it to be a little bit volatile. So you may set to buy it. It may not fill, because it may not hit that price point you've set it to buy it at. And that's why when you get past the 4:30 a.m. hours, where now, there's more volume happening, then there's a better potential to buy things. But you can buy right now. You can buy anything you want to buy right now, as long as you see over here, it says 24 hours, and you can trade it over the 24 hours. Now, you also have to have, it depends on your brokerage account. Some brokerage accounts may not let you buy things in the overnight hours, because what they may do is, you'll see here, you have an estimated amount of cost, the estimated fee, then what your buying power is. So in the overnight market, just like in the pre-market and post-market and the regular trading market, they may restrict how much money you have available to you as buying power. So you have to also consider that when you're looking at your account. But yes, to answer that question. So what else? Anything else? Any other questions? John's on fire tonight. Thank you, Paulette. Thank you. Amen. Amen. Let's see. Anything else going on here? Nope. I think I got all the questions and stuff we had going on in there. Chat. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm very excited. Let's one more time look at the S&P 500 before we lock off of this thing. And look at this. I'm going to pull my MACD down. Still holding very nicely. It was just red, flipped green. Very, very nice. This is probably where you're going to see this level hold. If it pulls back down, all right, then we'll see what happens. But we're probably going to run a bit horizontal now. Now that the gap up is done, the volume is dropping off again. Even in the S&P 500, the volume's very low, right? 5,000, 5,352. Very, very low movement. So thank you so much for being here. Remember, if it's your first time being here, or you are watching this for the first time, and let me just tell you very quickly, what we do on this channel is I track and trend a list of stocks. Matter of fact, on the AJDT Best Day Trade list, there are 21 stocks in here. You can see they are all, if they are 24 hours, they're all running green. They all ran green pretty much. Look, ONDS is not. ONDS is what ended up a little bit down in the red in the aftermarket on Friday, but everything else running green. I basically track them, chart them. I look at a 30-day rolling for the chart. I look at the 9, 20, 50, and 200 moving averages for them, because I want to understand what they're doing and what patterns are they running. I also look at the daily pattern up and down to see if it has something like, for example, APLD. I know pretty much almost every day, although it's kind of faked this out the last few trading days, pumped hard, just continuing on an uptrend, but usually has a bit of a drop down. Or if it does pump up, it then drops down. And that is my time and many of our Discord members' buy time for APLD. But the point is, I put this list out. I've already done a lot of the homework for you. You still need to do your own homework, your own due diligence on anything, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial planner, not a financial advisor. I don't tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything. But at the end of the day, I put this list out for you to make some decisions on things that I personally am trading and that I could tell you are running good for me personally. And that's why I put that list out, because I used to be an individual that used to try to follow every trend, used to try to follow every YouTuber, was latching onto people that honestly were not good at it, and I was losing money. And I decided, hey, you know what? This AJDT family, this AJDT YouTube channel, the Average Joe Day Trader, kind of birthed out of people saying like, why don't you start a channel? And, so you can help other people, just like you talk about how people helped you. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay it forward. God called me to help people in whatever ways my talents can do that. I feel like this is something God opened the door for me to do. And I'm glad you're all here with us doing it. And I put the list out to try to help everyone else take the guesswork out of where to go look. You can just pull up stocks in the morning and look at the scanners. And I'm telling you right now, you wouldn't know where to go first. And you would have a constant FOMO. You'd be getting in and out of things that you didn't know whether to get in and out of. You didn't know whether to stay in them. And that's not how I want you all to be, making money. We can make money together in and out of just those 21 stocks. You can pull them up, and Friday you can throw a dart at the board and hit one and make a decision to make money that day in that stock. So thank you. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And if you want to be with us in the Discord, jump in. There's a description below. You can hit the link to get access and join. I'd be happy to see you there. Any final thoughts or questions from the chat? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to throw it in there. I thank you so much for being here, for your time. And we'll just make sure there's nothing last here before we lock out of here. All right, I don't see anything. So I'm going to tell you, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Please understand, I do appreciate and I value the time that you spend to be here with me. God bless you. Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow. Excited to see what the market does for us at 4:30 in the morning and at the 9:30 bell. Let's continue to stay healthy, get financially healthy, get rich together. God bless. Josh out. Peace.